Imagine for a second that you could take every single Harry Potter book, all 7 of them, stack them up, hand them to someone. Now imagine that person could read every single word, just instantly. But more importantly, imagine that while they're reading the very last sentence of the last book, they still perfectly remember the first sentence of the first book.
That is the scale we're talking about here. It's a staggering amount of information to hold in your head at once, without getting fuzzy on any of the details.
It really is. And that concept, that ability to hold all that information without losing the thread, is technically called a context window. It's pretty central to what we're exploring today. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are unpacking Google Gemini Advanced.
It's good to be here. This is a big one.
It is, yeah. And looking at the numbers, the interest is definitely there. The user base for Gemini has, quadrupled in just a year? That's massive growth. But digging into the reports, there's this interesting tension. We have millions of people using these tools, but there's a massive gap between knowing a feature exists, like, oh, I heard it can read a PDF, and actually weaving that feature into a daily workflow.
That's the classic adoption curve, right? We treat these tools like novelties or, just really big search engines. We ask a question, we get an answer. It's transactional. But the shift we want to talk about today, and what the source material really emphasizes, is moving from just chatting with a bot to building a persistent personal assistant.
Which is a heavy promise. So to keep us on track, we have a bit of a roadmap. We're going to look at 3 specific pillars from the documentation. First, multimodality, which is a fancy word we will definitely break down. Second, the new thinking model versus the fast model. And third, creating these custom gems.
And we'll wrap it all up with a masterclass example, a gardening workflow that actually ties all these disparate pieces together into something really practical.
So let's start with that first pillar, multimodality. To me, this often sounds a bit like marketing jargon. When you strip it back, what are we actually talking about here in terms of utility?
It sounds complex, but it's actually the most human part of the AI. I mean, think about how you and I interact with the world right now. We don't just read text floating in a void. We see things. We hear sounds. We watch movement. Multimodality just means the AI can do that too. It isn't limited to text anymore. It can process photos, it can watch videos, it can listen to audio.
So it's effectively breaking that text-only barrier.
Exactly. And the efficiency gain here is massive. Think about the friction of trying to describe a photo to a computer. You're typing, okay, there's a tree in the left corner and the light is hitting it this way. It's just tedious. With multimodality, you don't describe the context. You
show it.
You just show it.
And this ties back to that opening hook we had, the context window. The source material mentions Gemini Advanced has a capacity of 1 million tokens. We use the Harry Potter analogy, which is vivid, but technically, what is a token?
Good catch. A token is basically a unit of text, roughly 4 characters. So 1 million tokens is about 700,000 words.
Which is hard to wrap your head around.
It is. But practically, it solves the goldfish memory problem. Most older models, if you gave them a long document, by page 50, they've kind of forgotten what was on page 1. With 1 million tokens, you can dump a massive amount of data in, and it retains high-fidelity recall from start to finish.
Let's look at a concrete example from the research to see if this holds up. Say I have to learn about quantum computing, and I have a dense 79-page PDF. It's dry, it's academic, it's painful.
The nightmare scenario.
Right, so I drag that PDF into Gemini, and because of that massive context window, I can ask it, explain this to me like I am a 5-year-old.
And it works.
Yeah.
It synthesizes the whole thing.
But here's my pushback on that. It reads the text, it summarizes it. That's great for saving time. But how does that actually help us learn a complex topic? Because just reading a summary isn't the same as understanding the mechanics of it.
That's a crucial distinction. And if you just ask for a summary, you are only getting surface-level info. The power is in interrogation. The source material suggests asking the AI to transform that static text into interactive tools.
Interactive tools?
Yeah. You aren't just getting a book report back. You can ask it to generate an infographic based on the text. Or, and this is where it gets wild, you can ask it to create a simple interactive simulation. Code, essentially. It lets you play with the variables mentioned in the PDF. It turns passive reading into active simulation.
So I could ask, based on this paper, write me a Python script that simulates particle spin.
And it'll do it. You run the code, and suddenly you're seeing the concept in action rather than just reading about it. It's bridging that gap between information and real understanding.
That's fascinating. Okay, so we've got text and documents covered, but I want to pivot to the second pillar, which I think is even more mind-bending. The ability to watch.
video analysis.
The source makes a really crucial distinction here. When we say Gemini watches a video, we aren't just saying it reads the automated captions, are we? Because I can do that. I can just read a transcript.
Correct, and that is the game changer. Most tools just scrape the transcript text. Gemini is processing the pixels, it's using its native vision capabilities, analyzing the visual information frame by frame.
I have to pause on that because just imagine the implication. It's not just hearing what is said, it's seeing the editing speed, it's seeing the color grading, the facial expressions.
It captures the whole texture of the video, not just the content.
So let's look at a use case. The guide mentions learning from YouTube. Say I want to make a video, and I find a tutorial on how to make viral AI videos, but it's super fast-paced, it's chaotic.
Right, the kind where you're pausing every 2 seconds just trying to catch up.
Exactly. So you can paste that link into Gemini. What happens next?
You just say, watch this, and write a prompt for me to recreate this exact style. Because it's watching the pixels, it understands the visual language, the pacing, the aesthetic, and it gives you a command you can use to replicate it. It's like having a director analyzing the film for you.
There was another example for creators that I thought was really sharp. If you're a YouTuber or even just doing marketing videos for work, you can upload your top 5 performing videos.
This is where it becomes an analyst. You ask it, look at these 5 videos. Why did they succeed?
Yeah.
And because it sees the video, it doesn't just say, oh, the topic was good. It looks at the structure. It might say, in all 5 videos, you used a rapid visual hook in the first 3 seconds. Or your editing pace accelerated at the 1-minute mark, which kept retention high.
It's spotting patterns that you might not even realize you're doing.
Precisely. It's objective feedback based on visual data.
Okay, now, this works great for immediate analysis, checking a few videos, a PDF. But what if I have a year's worth of scripts? What if I have a huge archive of data that I don't want to re-upload every single time? The context window is big, but it's not infinite.
That's where you need to change tools. You connect it to NotebookLM to give the AI that long-term memory of your entire creative history.
NotebookLM is often mentioned alongside Gemini. Can you just clarify the relationship there?
Think of Gemini as the processor, the brain that's thinking right now. Think of NotebookLM as the library. You store your deep archives, hundreds of PDFs, old scripts, research notes in NotebookLM. Then when you're chatting in Gemini, you can reference that library without having to re-upload it. It grounds the AI in your specific history.
Okay, moving on. I want to talk about something that I think everyone can relate to. The pain of repetition.
Oh, absolutely.
I still wrestle with this myself. I find a prompt that works, but then I have to type it out or copy-paste it from a note, and I have to remind the AI of the formatting rules every single time. Don't use bullet points, use a table, don't do this, do that. It's just exhausting.
It's the friction that kills adoption. If it feels like work to ask the AI to do the work, you just stop doing it.
So enter gems.
Gems.
These are described as custom versions of the AI.
Yeah.
But how is that different from just, a saved chat?
Think of a gem as a preset persona. It's a version of Gemini where you have preloaded a specific set of system instructions that it never, ever forgets. You're effectively programming the AI, but you're using natural language instead of code.
The example in the deep dive material is the accountant gem. I think this illustrates it perfectly.
It's so simple, but so effective. The problem is universal. You come back from a business trip, your pockets are full of crumpled receipts. It's a mess.
The worst part of any trip.
Easily. So the old way is, you take a photo, upload it, and you type a paragraph. Please extract the dates, amounts, and vendors. Put them in a table, categorize them. You have to type that every time.
Which is so annoying.
Right. With a gem, you build it once. You call it Expense Helper. And inside that gem, you write those instructions one time. Take numbers, format into an Excel table, categorize it to food, travel, hotel. Do not wait for me to ask.
So the next time I open that gem,
You drop the photo and you say absolutely nothing.
silence.
Silence. It just does the job. It knows its role. It's like walking into your office and handing a file to an assistant who's worked with you for 10 years. You don't need to explain what to do with it. They already know the protocol.
That is the shift. From prompting every time to delegating to a system that you've built.
Exactly. And you could do this for anything. A coding buddy that always comments your code. A writing editor that always checks for passive voice.
Right.
You build the tool once, you use it forever.
But, okay, let's say we have the data organized. The receipts are in a table, but that's just data entry. Where do we actually do the work of refining it? Where do we turn that data into, say, a report or a script?
We move to Canvas, which the documentation describes as a hybrid between a Google Doc and a code editor.
Canvas seems to be the answer to the chat interface problem, because chatting is actually terrible for editing documents.
It is. Chat is linear. You ask, it answers. If you want to change one sentence in the middle of a generated email, you usually have to ask it to rewrite the whole thing and then hope it doesn't mess up the parts you liked.
Or you just copy-paste it into Word and edit it yourself.
Right. Canva solves that. It opens a separate window right next to the chat. So you have your conversation on the left and the actual document on the right.
So it looks more like a document editor.
Yes. So let's say you're writing a video script based on those receipts. You generate the draft. It appears in the Canvas window. Now, you can highlight just the introduction and type, make this punchier, or highlight a technical paragraph and say, remove the jargon.
It's surgical.
It is. And crucially, you aren't losing the context of the rest of the document. It's acting like a collaborative editor sitting next to you, rather than a bot just throwing text at you.
Now, within this ecosystem, there's also a distinction made between the models themselves. We have the fast model and the thinking model. I feel like most people just leave it on default and never touch this.
Which is a mistake, because they are fundamentally different tools.
How so?
The fast model is, well, it's fast. It uses what psychologists call System 1 thinking. It's instinctive, rapid pattern matching, great for brainstorming or quick chats. But the thinking model uses System 2.
System 2 being that slow, deliberative, logical part of the brain.
Exactly. When you switch to the thinking model, you'll actually notice the AI pauses. It might take 10 or 15 seconds before it even starts typing.
What's it doing during that pause?
It's reasoning. It's mapping out a chain of thought. If you ask it a complex logic puzzle or a math problem, or to plan a travel itinerary with 5 different constraints, the thinking model maps out the steps before it generates the final answer. It actually checks its own work.
The guide compares it to choosing the right tool to fix a car. You don't use a hammer for everything.
Exactly. My recommendation: keep thinking as the default for anything complex. If you're doing real work coding, planning, analysis, the extra 10 seconds of wait time is worth the accuracy. If you're just chatting about a movie, use fast.
So if we zoom out, we have multimodality, which is the eyes and ears. We have the thinking model, the brain. We have GEMS for the specialized training, and Canvas is the workspace.
The full stack.
It feels like a lot of separate tools when we list them like that. I want to see how they fit together. The source material lays out a smart garden workflow that I think perfectly illustrates the stacking concept.
This is my favorite part, because it takes someone with zero knowledge and gives them a result that looks like an expert produced it.
Okay, so let's walk through it. Step 1. You want to grow a garden. You're in California, you have a balcony, you know nothing about plants. What do?
Step 1 is multimodality. Don't type, I have a balcony that faces south. Just go outside, take a photo, upload it to Gemini, ask, what grows here in California weather?
So the AI analyzes the light, the space, the context right from the pixels.
Right. It suggests, say, strawberries and lettuce because it sees you have limited floor space but good railing space.
Okay. Step 2.
Visualization. This is the motivation step. You ask, show me a picture of what this will look like when it's fully grown. It uses image generation to show you a lush green balcony. Now you're excited. You can actually see the goal.
I'm motivated, but I still don't know how to keep anything alive.
Step 3 is deep research with the thinking model. You ask for a detailed plan. Create a weekly schedule telling me when to plant, when to fertilize, when to harvest. It digests all that agricultural data into a structured timeline for you.
Now, this is where most people would stop. They have the plan, they print it out, they lose it, and the plants die.
Exactly. But we're going to build a system. Step 4, create a gem. You call it Garden Expert. You upload that plan and that original photo of your balcony into the gem's knowledge base.
So the gem knows your specific garden.
It knows your garden, and the instruction you give it is, you are the caretaker of this balcony. When I send a photo of a sick plant, tell me how to fix it naturally based on the plants I own.
That is brilliant. So 2 months later, the strawberry leaves are turning yellow. You don't Google yellow leaves.
No. You snap a photo, you drop it in your gem, and it says, hey, remember those strawberries in the south rail? They're nitrogen deficient. Add coffee grounds. It's context-aware troubleshooting.
And finally, step 5.
Management via Canvas. You ask it to create a visual dashboard, a tracking table for watering and harvesting that you can edit. You just keep that open to track your progress.
So in minutes, you went from zero knowledge to a personalized plan, a visual goal, a custom troubleshooter, and a management system.
That's the power of the stack. You aren't just chatting, you are orchestrating.
So the core shift here, it really is moving from just asking the AI a question to stacking the AI skills into a workflow.
Exactly. It's not a robot you chat with. It's a multi-skilled assistant you build workflows for. You're the architect. The AI is the builder.
I love that framing. It makes it feel much more active. But we've thrown a lot of features at you today. If you take away just one thing, what is the big idea here?
The big idea is a mindset shift. It's resisting the urge to be overwhelmed. Don't try to change your entire work life tomorrow. Don't try to build the accountant gem and the garden gem and a coding gem all at once.
Right. Start small.
Pick one thing, one repetitive, boring daily task. Maybe it's meal planning. Maybe it's summarizing that weekly meeting no one pays attention to. Maybe it's a defense report.
There's one thing that annoys you.
And build one simple gem for it. That's it.
And once you save time on that one thing, the utility of the other features, multimodality, canvas, the thinking model, it all becomes obvious.
It just clicks. You realize, oh, I can use this for that other thing too. And suddenly you aren't just a user anymore. You're a master of the tool.
That is a great place to leave it. So here is our challenge to you listening right now. Identify one boring task today, just one, and attempt to create a gem for it. See if you can delegate that friction to the machine.
And let us know how it goes.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.
Safe travels.